There you go. I just wanted
I'm
you
gonna
to
turn off.
smile so that so that when we get the recording started, which we just did, it'll have your beautiful smiling mug on the picture.
Ah, I love it.
So in just a second, we're a minute behind schedule here, but that's all right. Is it Campbell?
Yep, Campbell, like the soup. And Melissa with one S.
Oh, with one S, Melisa.
Yep.
No, let me get that corrected. Can't be having that spelled wrong. All right, we are going to share the screen. And we are going live here in. Tara, could you do me a favor? Oh, thank you. I just noticed that you did that because we want Melissa on the screen for people. Well, good morning, kids. Welcome to today's episode of the Kong Family Show. Have we got a treat for you today? I am so excited. I've been looking forward to meeting this lovely lady for quite some time. I reached out to her a long time ago, trying to get her to be on the show, and she never wanted to come on the show. And then one awesome morning, I get a message from her saying, "You know what? I'm ready to come on the show." I'm like, "Hooty hoo! Yeah!" So today we have the lovely Melisa Smith Campbell coming in hot from, I believe, aren't you up in the Great Northwest or something like that?
I'm right here in South Jordan, Utah.
Oh, heck, you're right here in my neck of the woods. We're neighbors.
Yep.
I didn't even realize it.
We sure are.
Because I live right across the way over in Sandy. And so we're going to have to get together sometime for a real hug instead of just a hooty hoo.
I think so, too.
Just so you know, the hooty hoo, for everybody out there, the hooty hoo is a verbal hug amongst its many, many, many other uses and meanings. But anyway, yeah, Melissa, gosh, great. I don't have to ask you how the weather's doing because I pretty much already know that. And but I want to get right into this. You have a really awesome story to tell, and I'm looking forward to hearing it. And so the first question I'd like to ask you that I always ask everybody is, you know, first off, how did you get involved with the magic? Why did you get involved? And you know, were you a skeptic like I was?
Great questions. Well, I got involved with the magic through Brittany Dykes. I was following her story, and I have known her husband like my whole life. We grew up together, and so through him, I was watching her. And her story was just so transforming and amazing to me because I too was on this journey of crappy health my entire life, and anything that I could do to make me have a good day was like hallelujah, right? And so I'm watching her story and I'm watching things unfold, and I'd send her messages and she would give me information, and I'm looking at it. And finally it just clicked to me. And September of 2018 is when we purchased our machine, never testing the water, never trying the water, just solely on me watching her life change. And that's what I needed. And so I told my husband, I'm like, "Hey, I need this water machine." And he's like, "Are you kidding?" And I'm like, "No, I'm not kidding." But prior to that, I mean, I've been on this healing journey for over 5 years. I was at a really low point in 2014 where I was on my deathbed, and I was bedridden for a number of months, and I was unable to walk. I was unable to eat. I was unable to really just function. I have days that I just completely black out and I can't even remember anything that happened. And I have to like go to my kids and be like, what did we do yesterday? Or what happened? And so it was pretty scary. And my kids watched me go from a life of adventure and fun and always doing things. Even though I was sick, I suffered from migraine headaches and body pain and stress and anxiety, which led to panic attacks, to me not being able to leave my house, me unable to drive a car, lots of different things like that, where it then eventually became all of this emotional baggage, right? That just keeps piling up and piling up and piling up to the point where it shut my body down. And my body was not functioning. It was not my own anymore. My organs were shutting down. My hips had rotated and my legs were out of socket, so I couldn't stand without the assistance of somebody else holding me up or carrying me. And just so much pain just all over my whole body. To just touch me lightly, it was like just radiated pain to the point where I just had tears constantly streaming down my face. It felt like inflamed nerves, right? So anything touching my skin was like fire.
Yeah.
And I lived like that for a long time. And I just learned how to like tune that out and kind of check out of my body form, right? So that I could function and live and do things that a mom and a wife and a friend and a daughter or sister, whatever it was, whatever hat I had to put on, I had to show up as that, right? So I learned to kind of push it all down until one day it just exploded and was like, you can't live like this anymore. And it put me on my bed of having to make a choice. And, you know, I don't know if many people have ever experienced that, but being in that level of darkness, this is why it's hard for me to share my story. I get a little choked up.
I love it. This is.
But being in that level of darkness where you are communicating at a level of just, I've given up, right? I was praying to not wake up. I was praying to just be free from all of it. And I didn't really recognize what that meant to my family or who I was leaving behind.
Wow.
When I was checking out, right? And at that time, my husband and I were separated. We've been together 15 years, and this was 7 years ago. Well, whenever 2012 was. In 2012, we separated for 2 years until 2014. And during that time, it was just like my health got worse and worse and worse and worse. And I didn't realize that it was the environment that I was in, the people that I was around, and the things that I allowed in my space. And what a lot of people don't realize and recognize is emotional abuse, and that emotional baggage that we hold and carry on is a lot more heavy than someone punching you in the face. I mean, hell, I would love it if someone just punched me in the face and get it over with and I never had to feel it again, right? But instead we take on this emotional baggage and we just carry it for years and forever until it's so heavy that it just drops you to your knees. And that's what was happening to me. And it wasn't just myself allowing it. It was everyone in my circle, we'll say, was just giving me all of their crap too. Yeah. To the point where I wasn't good enough, right? Even though I was doing everything I could. And so fast forward a little bit. It's October. Actually, it's the end of September. And throughout the time my husband and I were separated, we're best friends. We've been best friends since we met. And we still talked, and, you know, every day we still communicated with each other. We just had a lot of growing up that we had to do separately. And when we met each other, he was coming out of a marriage of 14 years and his life was changing in that perspective. And I was 19, but I came from a single family home of 7 kids, and I'm third to the oldest. I've been raising kids that are the same age as his kids. And so it was like we were the same age and we just blended, and it worked perfect. He's 17 years older than me, but it just flows and it just works, right? And when I met him, I was going through a lot of things in myself and really just trying to figure out, like, who am I? What do I believe? What do I want to take with me in my life, right? Like, who is Melisa? And when you get into a relationship with people, you tend to kind of take on who they are too, and you forget who you are. And for a long time, I forgot who I was. And I just kind of got into the mold of being a mom and being a wife. And we owned a business, and so we ran the business. And I just went into the flow of that, not really recognizing that when I let myself go and not love who I am too, and I just keep shoving down all the needs and wants and desires that I want, that also is emotional baggage that just weighs at you and as you keep growing, right?
Yeah.
So when we separated and my health got super, super horrible, and I just remember laying in bed, just praying, praying, please, I can't wake up. I cannot live another day like this. I am in so much pain. My body hurts so bad. To even breathe was shallow breaths because it felt like my ribs were broken. The best way to kind of describe it is a straitjacket, that you're in a straitjacket, but like a full body one that just keeps getting clenched and clenched and clenched until it feels like everything is broken and suffocated and cracked, and you can't breathe deep because there's no room, right? And I don't remember doing this, but I was told that I did this. I sent Troy, my husband, a message, and I was just like, we need to come back together. I don't know how much time I have left, but I know my body is shutting down and I am not going to live long. And it's best if we're together. So if I don't wake up, our kids aren't alone. And in my mind, what I remember is just praying not to wake up. And then I recall in the morning him being there. And I was just like, oh my gosh, where did you come from? And he's like, you told me to come. And I was like, really? Okay, cool. And he carried me and we left. Also in 2012, when we separated, we had lost everything we owned. Like literally everything we owned. We lost our business, we lost our house, we lost our marriage. Like we lost it, right? And so coming back together in 2014, we still had nothing. He was building our company we have now from his mom's spare bedroom, because that's where he was staying. And so when he came to get us, he brought us to his mom's. And I went from one bed to another bed, right? And but at least we were together, and our kids were we were all together, and if I didn't wake up, at least they had each other. And that's how I felt, right? A few days after just sitting there and staring out the window, looking into his mom's backyard, I was just sitting there and I'm like, a thought came across me that I needed to go see a family healer. Troy has a cousin who is a very intuitive healer. He's an amazing chiropractor. And my back was out. I couldn't walk, right? So I'm like, I need to go see Sean. It'd been probably 8 years or so since I had seen him. He had no idea that we'd separated, no idea about anything, right? And at the time I couldn't walk, so Troy is carrying me into his office and lays me on the bed or on the table. And he puts me on my side because I'm unable to lay flat. So I'm in like fetal crunch position because it hurts so bad to just move and breathe and just be. And I just have tears just streaming down my face. And Sean walks up behind me. And he hovers his hands over me and he's like, Melissa, there are so many knives and daggers in your back. Like, this is your body telling you it's done. And you have to make a choice. Otherwise, you're going to die and it's going to come quick. Your body, this is the warning signs. Like, your body saying, hey, time to wake up. And I was just like, holy crap. He has no idea what's going on in my life. How does that just ring so true to me, right? A little flashback of Melissa. I've been very in tune with the spirit world since I was 7 years old. I've communicated with my angels and guides. They've directed me and helped me in a lot of things throughout my life. And so for me, I knew with every ounce of my body that he was speaking to my spirit. He was speaking to everyone there that's there to help me, right? And so he says, I'm going to go over here for a minute and I'm going to come back, but I want you to think about something when I leave. He says, you have to make a choice. And you have to make a choice today. And that choice is you're going to choose to live or you're going to choose to die. But today you make that choice. And I'm like, holy shit. Okay, here we go, right? And in that instant, my mind just starts going of all of these things that need to happen so I can live. Because I knew I needed to live. I wanted to live. And so he goes, and as I'm laying there, still tears just streaming down my face, my mind is going, okay, Melissa, you know what you need to do. You remove everyone from your life. You're blocking your family. You're changing your phone number. Nobody gets to know where you live. Friends get to disappear. Your whole life gets an audit, right? So he comes back a few minutes later and he says to me, have you made a choice? And I said, I have. And he said, but first, before you tell me, I just want to say one more thing so that we're really clear. And I said, okay. And he said, if you choose to live, you are choosing only that which brings you love. If it is not created in love, it's got to go. So if it's not bringing you that, it's not invited in your space. And for me at that time was like the majority of my family. I have 7 siblings, 13 of them if you include the other parts, right? So it's like I have a huge family and I'm one of the older ones in the family. So I am that caregiver or that go-to person for a lot of people. And I was like, okay, I know what I need to do. And it was remove them from my life. And it was become a ghost, right? Ghost everybody. And so I'm like, yeah, I know exactly what I need to do. And he said, are you willing to do it? And I said, I am willing to do it. I want to live. I choose to live. And I choose a life of love. And that's what I choose. And so October 2014, I chose love and it saved my life that day. He put his hands on my shoulder and my hip and adjusted my back and it went all the way up. I laid flat on my back and he put my hips in and I walked out that day. And it'd been a while since I had even put weight on my legs. And so for me to walk was like a miracle, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's amazing what choosing you and choosing love can do. And it can just take you from that dark place, and it ignited a spark inside of me, and I saw who I was at that point, and I saw what I could be. And I was like, yes, I want that, right? I want that higher self version of me. I want that healthy version of me. And so after I left there, I knew exactly what I had to do. And if I said I'm willing, then you know what? That means you're willing and you're going to make that choice and you're going to put it into motion. And at that time, I could not eat anything without my body saying no way, and it's coming right back up. And that had been going on for years. So I was like, okay, first thing I need to like introduce myself to is food, right? I need to find out what my body really likes. And so I started a food journal. And to this day, if I feel myself getting out of whack, I go right back to that. And by a food journal, I mean anything I put in my mouth, whether it be one raisin or grape, it would go on this list. And I could pinpoint exactly what it was that my body did not like within a matter of like minutes, right? And so I would journal it out, and I would remove things that didn't belong, and I would add new things in and see how it would happen and manage. And I did that, and I worked with that. And so my healing journey started with nutrition, and it started with really just the choice of choosing me and what fit in me and this body, right? What does this body want?
Right.
And at a young age, I was taught like muscle testing. My parents were divorced when I was really young, and my mom was more of the medical doctors. So when Melissa was sick, she would take me to the doctor. I had my own drawer of prescriptions that were just for me. Like, it was ridiculous, right? My dad was more holistic, and he heals with herbs, and he does body testing, and he is more of a listen to your intuition, right? Well, when you're raised in this and you only get to spend a little time with your dad and the majority of time with your mom, you tend to go with who you're around most, right?
Yeah.
So as I started growing older and thinking for myself, I'm like, you know what? I gave up on doctors a long time ago because, let me rephrase that. Doctors are amazing, and we need them for certain things for sure. My daughter has a screw in her elbow. That is not something that a herb can fix for sure. But I believe my body can be healed through natural medicines on this planet. My body can be healed through thoughts that I put into my mind. My body can be healed through the energy that I push through it and the nutrition I give it. And I am living proof that that is true and possible.
Yeah.
The last time I went to a medical doctor, they told me I was crazy. They told me the nerve pain in my arm was make believe. And there's no way I had pain radiating through my whole body. Just couldn't happen. And so I was like, you know, all right, you keep that opinion. I'll work on my own. And so it started with nutrition. It started with food. It started with herbs. I started taking a multivitamin that is a micronutrient, so it absorbs into your bloodstream, so it doesn't have to go through your kidneys and your liver. It's instant nutrition of the minerals and the vitamins that your body needs to and creates, right? And 3 days after I was taking this multivitamin, a citrus allergy that I had had for 9 years. And when I say allergy, I mean if you ate an orange 5 minutes before we had a conversation and I shook your hand, within 3 minutes, I would be having stroke-like symptoms and I would be in the emergency room. Like, it was intense. My kids would have to go into restaurants and scope it out before I could go in to make sure there wasn't lemons on a table we were gonna sit on. So like, after 3 days, this micronutrient flushed that out and healed that little part, that disconnect that was causing the reaction and the allergy, right?
Mm-hmm.
I was like, holy crap, I'm craving orange juice. This is so weird. And I went and I lined up all my pills that I would have to take if all of a sudden I accidentally got this. And I'm like, Troy, I'm drinking this glass of orange juice. And he's like, what? Are you serious right now? And I'm like, yeah, I'm doing it. He's like, okay. And my daughter's like, are you sure you want to do that, Mom? I don't know if you really want to do that. You know, and I'm like, yeah, I think I need to do it. And I drank that orange juice and I had no reaction, like, at all. I was just like, man, that tastes so good. And it was like mind blowing that I could have this allergy that put my body into this spin of a down cycle and so much pain. And yet I start feeding my body vitamins and minerals, and now I can eat and drink this orange, right? So that for me was just like, holy cow, this is amazing. So I just wanted to keep fueling that. And as I was working on nutrition, I started doing energy work on myself. And I don't know how familiar you are with energy work, or if you've heard of Reiki or anything like that. So I started practicing Reiki on myself. I am a Reiki healer, I'm a Reiki master, and I totally believe in the power of energy and how you can be a channel and channel that through to heal. And so along with the nutrition and the energy work and just really being grateful for being alive, gratitude to me is the number one thing. I wake up in the morning and the first thing I do is say 5 things that I'm thankful for, and my number one is always that I'm alive. I'm thankful every single day that I get to be here, that I get to share my story, and that I get to assist other people on their journeys. And to me, that's just what it's all about, is sharing our story and sharing our journey and our purpose, and allowing other people to see that there are so many different ways to choose themselves to create the life that they want. And so as I was on this, that's when Brittany started really popping up on my newsfeed, like so much, and this Kangen water. And I'm like, what the heck is this Kangen water? And at that time I was going and buying bottled water from the store, alkaline water, you need alkaline water, you need this kind of water. And I'm like, okay, well, I've already been doing this, so now let's go into water. And the interesting thing to me is nobody my entire life, all the doctors I had gone to, nobody told me the importance of water, ever. Nobody told me that your body could be acidic. Nobody told me all of these things that I learned in an hour at a water conference. You know what I mean? Like, I'm sitting there mind blown at this water conference, and I look at Brittany and I'm just like, why didn't I know this so long ago? Right? Like, this is holy cow. And so I'm just like, okay, water. So I'm telling my husband, I need alkaline water, and I'm going to buy it from this water store. And so you're going to help me carry these 5-gallon jugs. And at the time we lived on the 3rd floor of an apartment building. And he's like, this sucks. Can't we just buy bottled water? And I'm like, I really think it has to be this water. So we need to go buy this alkaline water, 5-gallon jugs. Come on, Troy, you can do this. And so we did that for like, I don't know, 2.5 years. We're packing these alkaline water jugs up,
Can I ask you something about that particular situation? Because this might be something that changes somebody's thought process in this regard. But over that period of time that you were doing that, how much money would you say you spent on that water? And not to mention having to carry these big jugs of water, having to go take the trips once a week or whatever to go get the water. Just monetarily wise, how much do you think it ended up costing you during those 2 years?
I'm sure I could have made a payment on my house or a car payment with how much money because it wasn't just the bottle of water that we're buying, the 5-gallon jugs. It's the case of water that's in the back of my car. It's the waters that you're buying as you're out driving around, but not only that, I was drinking so much soda. I had to drink Dr. Pepper to mellow my stomach out, because that was the only thing that would make me feel like not want to barf my guts out. I woke up in the morning throwing up. I went to bed throwing up. If something gave me so much anxiety throughout the day, which let me just tell you, anything could have thrown me through a loop at that time, I would be in bed, right? My daughter did competitive gymnastics at that time. And so for me to go to one of her gymnastics meets that were 3 hours long and sit and watch it, I would be in bed for 3 days afterwards because it was way too much for me. Not just me physically sitting on the bleachers and that pain in my body, but everyone's energy in there, I would absorb. I was like a sponge for everyone's crap because I didn't know how at that time to block it, right? As you learn to, and you're going through different phases of stuff, you learn different tools and techniques to protect your energy and make sure that you're not absorbing everyone else's crap, right? So I had a time, my daughter's 10th birthday. We have her gym rented out. She has 14 friends coming, our whole family. It's going to be a big to-do. I go to reach for the doorknob to walk out of my house and I collapse to the floor. I physically cannot move. I physically cannot walk out the door. I am in pure panic. And my husband has to carry me into the room, tuck me into bed, and turn on a Disney movie to shut my brain off. Mm-hmm. And he went and did the birthday party without me. I missed my daughter's birthday because I physically could not walk out of my house. Like, that was an everyday thing for me. So for me to know, like, okay, you have a gymnastics meet on Saturday. It would take me a week of preparation to get myself to be able to get out of the door for that. Like, it was intense. So my brain was like, I had to really, really focus and learn how to control my brain and my thoughts and my anxiety, and to learn what was real and what was I just making up, right? And excuse me. We have 5 kids and 3 bonus daughter-in-laws. Like, that's a lot of kids. That's a lot of energy. That's a lot, right? I would have days when I would have to tell my kids, hey, you're not allowed to come over because you're just too intense for me, and you're sending me through a loop. Like, that's a horrible thing to feel or have to say as a mother, you know? And so then I have the guilt of saying that to my kids because I have to put myself first. Otherwise, it's not going to work, right? Yeah. And so I had to learn all of these different things that I was not used to doing. I was never used to putting myself first or even doing something for myself. My life was service to other people, and I was a yes person to everyone. And I had to learn to say no. And I had to learn to say, no, not in my space. And nope, you're not coming around me. And hey, this conversation is toxic. You got to go. Either change or get out. Like, those are real things that I've had to experience throughout this. But I'll tell you what, that taking back my power and saying I am worth all of this is like, I would never ever change that, right? But I would also never change any part of my story or my journey because it's created a path for other people too. I believe when we share our stories, it allows doors for other people to see, hey, if you've done it, I know I can do it. And it might not be the same exact journey or story, but you're allowing an opening for something else to come in to say, hey, it can be different if you choose it to be. And so for me, it was just, I choose it to be different a lot, right? That's what it was just about for me, is choosing it to be different than what it always was. So as I'm watching Brittany's journey, I tend to get sidetracked and I go all over the place. So I hope it makes sense to you.
I love it. I love your story. I you know, after hearing what you've said so far, I can very much understand why you were hesitant to want to come on the show. You know, you probably had to get down like 2 gallons of Cog's water this morning before you could get out here, you know, but, and, you know, I think something I'm curious about in all of this, were you ever diagnosed by the doctors with any particular, like, for example, because it's interesting how similar our stories are in regards to how we got involved with this, because it was Brittany Dyke's story that changed my life too. I always refer to her as the beautiful angel who changed the course of my life with her story. And it's a big part of the reason why I decided to put this show together and try to do this, is because it was a story that changed my life. It wasn't all the technicalities and any of that stuff. I thought Kangen water was like the stupidest thing in the world. I just laughed at my buddy Tim when he would post about it, and I just thought it was ridiculous. And then Brittany told her story, and she was literally in the same position as you. She was praying to die every night and every morning praying to die that day, and she was so miserable. And she had a particular thing called scleroderma, and but it was literally just a matter of giving her body what it needed so that it could fix itself. Because that's the thing I've learned since getting involved with Kangen water. I mean, I've been involved with kind of nutrition and preventative healthcare since 1993 when I read World Without Cancer. That book shifted the course of my life because it shifted the way I thought about health and doctors and all that kind of stuff. And
yeah,
so I was always into that kind of thing, but I never really understood it all until I got involved with Kangen water and started learning about this particular component that happens to make up 75% of our body, and I remember when Dr. Barry Aw said that when you go to a funeral where the person has been cremated, the part of them that's in that urn, that's the part of their body that wasn't water. And for some reason, that just smacked me upside the head like a ton of bricks. I was like, wow, what an incredible way to look at it. And so what I'm curious about in your particular case, because I believe so much in what you're talking about. I've often said that our body is 75% water, and that makes that the most important component of health. What are the other parts of health? What's that other 25%? Well, I've been saying that it's your diet, your exercise, your environment, and your mindset. And quite frankly, from listening to you and the things that I've learned from Ian Rude, I'm wondering, I'm thinking that maybe it needs to be mindset, nutrition, mindset, diet, exercise, and environment, in that order. Mindset needs to be the first of it, and the more I learn about the mind and how it works with the body, the more I believe that our mind is really next to water. It's the most important component of the whole thing. And I'm guessing that that's probably where you're going to come from as well. But when it came to your situation, were you ever diagnosed with anything particular, or was it all just like people love to say to people, oh, it's all in your mind? And sometimes they might not have any clue just how true that really is. And we probably don't even have a clue either. Well, how would you describe?
Well, it's absolutely true. I mean, if you sit there and think negative thoughts all day long, how are you supposed to have a positive life? You aren't. Your mind goes, so energy flows where your mind goes. So if you are thinking positive things, that's the energy that's going to flow to you and into you. If you're constantly thinking negative, my life sucks, what else could go wrong? Well, more stuff is going to go wrong because you just asked for it. Through my medical history, at a very young age, at 17 years old, they wanted to give me a hysterectomy. And I had 6 ovarian cysts burst at once. That is some intense pain. They found endometriosis all over all my feminine organs, and they told me I would never have a baby. And so they might as well just get rid of it. And thankfully, my mom was like, no way in hell. And I have my miracle daughter, and she's 13 years old. My pregnancy, though, was nothing pleasant. I was bedridden the whole time. She came 1 month early to the day. And at my 6-week checkup, they found cancer cells on my cervix. So right after I have my miracle baby, I start dealing with cancer and hearing the C word in my life. And I'm 23 years old, and that's scary, right? Previous to that, it's been migraine, headaches. Anything feminine, sorry, is my go-to not pleasant area. So it was just like anything that could possibly happen to your feminine organs, I got that. And in 2010, I had a partial hysterectomy because I was so tired of hearing cancer and having it cut out, scraped out, burned out for it just to keep coming back. And living in Utah and being really young, they're like, no way, we're not going to do that to you. That's a permanent thing. You're going to want all these kids, and how dare you do this? And I'm like, listen, I have 5 children. I'm not having any more kids. Like, I am done. I cannot hear this word one more time. Please just get rid of it. And so I had a partial hysterectomy. When I was having my daughter, they hit a nerve in my back, giving me my epidural. And I thought I was paralyzed. That scared the shit right out of me. I have 3 numb toes still to this day. And I believe that's what caused a lot of the nerve pain throughout my body, is hitting that nerve in my back, because it was recently after that it started happening. And it was just, I mean, that hit the nerve in my back, and the doctor, I remember, I'm like, oh my God, Troy, I think I'm paralyzed. And the doctor says to me, well, we can finish or we can be done. It's up to you. And I'm like, well, you already paralyzed me, so you might as well give me the drugs. And, I'm like, let's play this game, I guess. And it didn't even work. I felt everything. Oh my God, it was like, it was intense. So that was exciting. And it was shortly after that I really just gave up on going to doctors. I've had MRIs, I've had CT scans, I've had blood work, I've had all of these things. They found ulcers and my endometriosis that's still there. I still have my ovaries, so I still get ovarian cysts. I haven't had a migraine in a long time, thankfully, but those were all things that I was diagnosed with. I was on the testing schedule for fibromyalgia when I finally was just like, you know what? I don't need a doctor to tell me what's wrong with me. I can just figure this out. And so I was not actually diagnosed with that, but my sister and my mom both have that, and we have the same exact symptoms. So it's like,
Wow.
you kind of just weed things out.
That is so fascinating.
It's a lot.
So I want to I want to bust into something that I think is really important, and I'm guessing that you'll agree. One of the things that we have to really be mindful of with being involved with the Nagic and the Kong family, Kong's Water, is that a lot of times people want to say, oh, it cured my this, it cured my that, whatever. And it's really important that we always emphasize that the truth of the matter is that this water doesn't cure anything.
No, it doesn't.
Those nutrients that you took, they didn't cure anything. What does the curing is your body. This thing right here, this is the most amazing thing there is on planet Earth. It's incredible. It's a self-healing machine that's designed to heal itself. It's designed to be its own mechanic. It's designed to do its own thing. It's like when you cut yourself. You don't need to go to the doctor for a little cut on your finger. Your finger goes ahead and cuts itself or fixes itself. I got scars all over myself to prove that. So it's really important that we understand that what's happening is that we're giving our body the things that it needs. So we're giving it the tools. That's what Kong's Water is it's a tool that our machine uses to fix itself, to become its own mechanic. And it's just literally mind-boggling what it can do to fix itself when it gets what it needs. And so it's pretty obvious that not only did you have a situation where you were getting all the wrong things into your body, but you were also thinking a lot of the wrong thoughts. And all of this stuff is going to be something that really helps people out. As this thing gets shared out, your story is going to change a lot of people's lives. And And so I've got a couple of things I'd like to ask you. Um, how do you equate, what happened for you, just your personal story, because we are allowed to tell our own personal stories about what happened to us. We're not allowed to tell other people's stories, but we can tell our own.
Yeah.
And how did Kong and water affect, and how did it provide those tools for you? What kind of process did you start to go through as you started properly hydrating your body? And then, what would you say to somebody else? I'm asking this for a personal reason. I have a niece who has endometriosis, and she won't listen. She won't do, she doesn't want anything to do with this water. She just wants to go to the doctor. She's got when you were saying that, the first thing that came to my mind was her. And I've been trying to reach out to her, and the only thing she has to say is it's too expensive, period. That's it. And I would love to hear what kind of advice you might give to my niece Mackenzie when you get to that point. But I'd just like to know how it, how did your life begin to change? You made that wise choice to take over yourself. You put yourself in the federal witness protection program, so that nobody knew who you were. And you just disappeared from the face of the planet for a while. And so how did this all turn out all around? How did your body how did it work out for you?
Awesome. So watching Brittany, right? So I'm sending her messages back and forth, just like, share me whatever you can share me about this water. Like, how am I going to get my husband on board? This shit's expensive, right? And at this time, we lived in our apartment, and I'm really just like, we are just barely building our business up to having a life, right? And so money was a really important thing for us to really watch where we sent our money. But also for me, there is not anything in this world that I would replace that water machine with. Like, that machine goes with me everywhere I go. That water goes with me everywhere I go. And oh my gosh. So I'm telling my husband, I need this water machine. He's like, really? And I go, hey, we never have to buy bottled water again. You never have to carry a 5-gallon jug again, like, ever. Like, think about that. And he's like, really? And he's like, okay. And I go, not only that, Troy, it's going to save us money. And I can replace all of these other things. Like, I can replace our laundry soap, and I can, replace bleach with 2.5. Like, holy crap, let me show you all this cool stuff that this water machine does. I was like, holy, this is neat. And I really liked learning. I'm big on learning, so I was really intrigued by all these things that it could do, right? But what sold Troy was he never had to buy bottled water or carry a 5-gallon jug ever again. And so for him, he was like, yes. And I said, and hey, and guess what else? We can finance this machine. And he's like, there's no way. This is $5,000 and they're going to finance it. And I said, yes. And guess what else? They don't pull your credit. Melissa has been really sick. I have the worst credit on the planet. I've got medical bills from here to Timbuktu, right? So for me, that was like, yes, that's amazing. So those were our sell points, right? But not just that, I'd seen the other side and how scary it was. And there is no price that I would not put on my life. And when I made that choice to live, that meant I chose to live the best life that I possibly could, and to share that with my family and the people around me. And so we get our machine and start drinking the water and stuff. And it's probably like 2 weeks. And I go, oh my gosh, I'm looking in the mirror one morning and I go, Troy, I haven't thrown up in 2 weeks. And he's like, oh my gosh, you're right. And you've been getting up early. I was not an early person. My early was 11, right? If I had to wake up my daughter and get her to school, I would come home and get back in bed. Like, I was not, mornings were not my thing. Now I'm a 5:30 in the morning, go, 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 go. I have yet to have one down day. I have not thrown up. I have no nerve pain. I have no anxiety. All of my symptoms, all of my sickness, all of my, they're not even mine anymore. I refuse to own any of that anymore because it is not a part of who I am. It is the old Melissa that no longer lives in that body. So I choose to be Melissa 2.0. I have been called a water snob because I refuse to drink plastic death. And if friends of mine are drinking soda around me, I tend to get the gross face. And they're like, what's your deal, Melissa? And I'm like, oh, I'm sorry, you're physically hurting my body when you drink that soda.
Yeah.
And so I will admit I'm kind of pushy at sometimes, but for me, I've seen what the darkness looks like, and I know the steps that got me into that space. And so when I see people following that path, I can't help but be vocal so that I can hopefully be that little light and that little spark that leads them back to listening to themselves. Our bodies will tell us what they want. Our bodies will tell us what is good for them. And no different than a car, right? Your body is your car, and you're not going to put crappy gas. You're not going to put crappy oil. You're not going to put, bald tires on your car. You want your car, you want your machine to run at max capacity. And in order to do that, you have to fuel it with what's important. And hydration is number one over nutrition. When I look at nutrition, and I saved my life through nutrition, right? If I would have known back then how important water was, I don't think I would have really looked at it the same, honestly, and I would have taken it for granted how important Kangen water is and the amazing benefits that it can do for your body with the hydration that it gives. Like, nothing has ever hydrated my body like that ever. And the things that I thought were hydrating my body were indeed really just making it more acidic and hurting me worse. Yeah. And so that's even down to the foods that we eat, right? We are live beings, so we should eat live, living fruits and vegetables and water. And be mellow on the meats because our body can't break it down. It takes a lot of energy, and everything around us is energy. We create energy every single day with who we are. Our energy shows up before anything else, right? So like you're talking about the grocery store, the energy of the woman being sad and depressed showed up before that actual woman. You felt the intensity of her, right? So that's no different than everything we're around, our environment, the things that we watch, the food that we eat, the people we're around. Yeah. And when we choose an environment that is thriving on love, that is also the food that we put in our body. And that's who we are. So for me, I am a love dealer. My life is all about love. I educate on the importance of self-love. I'm an intuitive healer. I assist people on really just listening to who they are and what makes them sparkle and shine and vibrate at the highest that they possibly can. So if you're in the frequency of love, that's where creation comes in. That's where you can rebuild and just have a thriving life, and your body heals itself. That's what it was intended to do. And when you can give what it needs, it does the rest for you. It really, truly does.
Yeah. So what kind of advice would you give to my niece?
Without knowing your niece, the very first thing that really comes to me is I'd have her look herself in the mirror and ask her if she's worth it. Are you worth it? Because back then I would say me looking at myself 5 years ago, if I looked at myself in the mirror and said, Melissa, are you worth it? My answer would have been no. Until I heard from someone else that I was, right? And I believe everyone is worth it. And for your niece suffering from pain, like endometriosis, I mean, that's intense pain. A little teeny tiny top of a needle amount of endometriosis can drop you to your knees. Like, I don't think people really fully understand the intensity of endometriosis and what it can do to your body. If you imagine like a garden that has those weeds that are like the viney weeds that have the little white flower on them, but they like take over everything and suffocate everything out, that's endometriosis. It goes and grows like weeds and roots that just like collapse around things and suffocate it out. And it is so painful and it's so hard to get rid of, right? And so
Me of one
honestly,
of
it's like, do you want to keep living that pain every day, or do you want to try something new that could change your life? It's really just try it.
Yeah.
Say that you're worth it and try it for 2 weeks.
I love that advice. That is, you know, this company is so life-changing. Every day I'm thankful for this. I just wish I would have known about it sooner, because I really believe that my mother would still be here with me today had I known about it. She was born sick. They never knew what was wrong with her. Their solution was to cut this out, cut that out, and give her more pills and more bills. And it was, she was taking 22 different medications, developed a cyst on the backside of one of her kidneys that poisoned her spinal fluid. And in 4 days, she was a vegetable, and we unplugged her and watched her pass. And I still, to this day, it's been 29 years. Actually, this July 16th, it'll be 30 years. And the thing is, when I look back at it, I realize that this was available. I just didn't know about it.
Yeah.
We know what we don't know, and I believe that had I been able to get this into her body, give her machine this fuel that it so desperately needs, that I believe she'd be with me. And I remember watching Dr. Barry Oz, like 45, 50-minute presentation about the water. And I'll never forget how he starts the thing out, where he says, I've just got this really simple goal. I just want to change the world. And he tells his own story, how he was born sick. And I couldn't stop crying. I cried through the whole thing, because it reminded me so much of my mom, because she was the same way. And so it's such an incredible journey that we're on, and our motto is change your water, change your life. And people don't realize just how much and how truthful that is. I know that this company has drastically changed my life as far as my thought processes. As far as my health is concerned, I'm a lucky person. I really never had much in the line of any kind of health issues, but I didn't need to have somebody stomp on my head with a boot to know that I don't want to get my head stomped on by a boot. And I don't think that's going to feel very good,
Yeah.
And I've always been, well, mostly since I read that book in 1993, that changed everything for me. And, but there's so many incredible people that are involved with this company. And like you and Coach Menard, Sharon Menard, I don't know if you're friends with her or not. If you're not, you should get friended up with her. She's a sweetheart. She's a life coach and a mindset coach, and she does kind of very similar stuff to what you're doing. And same thing with Ian Rood. If you're not friended up with him, you should get friended up with him, because he's a superstar. And I'll tell you what, in listening, you and I, we need to excuse me, we need to get together sometime here in the near future and talk about some of the stuff that Ian does, because he uses electricity and energy and the mind to bring people out of wheelchairs. And and it's absolutely fascinating. He was on the show and told me that he had somebody that was in a wheelchair for 25 years, and now he's got him walking again. And, it's just truly a testament to just how powerful the human body can be when you give it the necessary tools that it needs. And I think you're a perfect living example of that how powerful the mind can be and how important it is. And I just absolutely love it that you were so gracious to come and visit with us today and share your story. I can see how difficult it was for you to do it. And I, I really hope that by doing this, it helps make it easier for you to share your story as time goes by, that it helps to improve what you're doing and make your business thrive more and all that kind of stuff, because we're in the people helping business, and like you say, we're in the love business, and we do what we do out of love. And most of the people that are in this company, they're in it because of the love that they have for themselves and for other people.
Yeah.
Obviously there's some people out there who don't care about anything but the money, but for the most part, people that I've met in this company, they are just the salt of the earth kind of people that would help anybody in any way, shape, or form that they can. And so it's just
Yeah.
fantastic having people like you and that are have had such life-changing experiences and want to share that with other people. Which brings me to my next question for you. You are in a grocery store line or something like that, and you got 30 seconds. You got maybe a minute at best, and you got one thing that you can say to somebody about this water that you can say to them that might intrigue them enough that they want to learn, or might knock them off the fence and get them to get on board. What is it? What would you say? You got one thing you get to say. What is it?
Oh, that's really funny. I have no idea, but what keeps coming to me is just, do you dare to be different, right? For me, it's really hard for me not to share Kangen water. If we go to a restaurant or somewhere, I always have my own water. The waitresses look at me like I'm weird, and I always leave a business card on the table. But each time they come back and they're like, what do you want to drink or whatever, I tell them, no, I've got my own Kangen water. Well, what's Kangen water? And then that opens the conversation to what it is. And then leaving the business card, right? In a grocery store line, that's really funny. The other day, I was just behind this gentleman that was buying 9 cases of water in Costco. And my daughter, who is just like her mother and has no filter, says, Mom, look at all that acidic water he's buying.
Oh, you got to love this.
And she goes, he needs to know about Kangen water. And he turns around and he's like, kind of gives me a look, and he goes, Kangen water? And I said, yes, there is nothing on this planet that hydrates like Kangen water. I said, if you want to hydrate your brain in 30 seconds and your full body in minutes and feel hydration like you've never felt before, Kangen water is the way to do it. But if you want to slowly drink yourself to death, this is the water to go for. And after I say that out loud, I was like, oh my gosh, did I really just say that out loud? But the guy stopped me in the parking lot and asked me more about it, and I gave him a card. So for me, I kind of just allow whatever needs to come out, because sometimes it is that slap in the face that people need to hear. Yeah. It is the 13-year-old that has to give them a reality check of what they're putting in their body. And I'm very, very thankful this water came into my life when it did. All of my children have Kangen water machines. My brother-in-law, who has MS, has a water machine. Dr. Sean, who changed my life, has a water machine. So my purpose and my goal is just I've seen the other side, and I know, and I'm done being quiet about it. If people get offended by the way it comes out, they need to reevaluate why they're getting offended. What is it about what I'm saying that is hurting you so bad? And usually it's because it's a reality, and it resonates inside of them as truth. And it's hard for people to recognize truth because they feel, in my case, like I can say from my own experience, when someone tells you something and but you're still just not ready to accept it, that eats on you. You know what I mean? And so for me, I'm planting a seed. Yeah. Each Facebook post, each time I share, and I am a water snob, and my friends now are starting to buy machines because they see I don't go anywhere without my water. I don't. I will go thirsty before I buy a bottle of water that isn't for a demo. That's it. You know what I mean? And I'm thankful that my kids get to see that. My 13-year-old gets to grow up knowing the importance of hydration. And she cannot wait until she can have her own water business. And what I love about this company is that you're not going to find this product in Costco. You're not going to find this product in a shopping mall kiosk. You are finding this product from like-minded individuals that have led and walked this journey, and that they know the truth and the power of this water. And they are not afraid to tell you about it, because that's really what it is. We are here to share information, to allow people to grow and expand and express and to transform. And this water does all of that for you. It doesn't just transform your health. Some people don't have poor health. Some people are in it to make money, and it does. It transforms your finances, and it allows your mind to be clear so that you can focus and you can expand and grow and teach, and you're always learning something new about your body with this water. Yeah. You are always learning something new with what it can do and create for your future or someone else's. I love this show and the opportunity that it has people to come and share their journey, because we aren't allowed to just say, hey, here's a list of all these people and all the cool things that have happened to them. Because it's true, you can't say and make medical claims. But when someone expresses what has physically happened in their mechanical body that has taken a physical change from hydration, it has to click something that says maybe water is important. And then when they actually see a demo, or they actually get to learn, something that really hit home for me was that list. And it's like the 3 levels of dehydration and all of the symptoms that go in each group. When I looked at that and I saw that I had symptoms from the 3rd, holy crap, you're dehydrated, get your life in check, I was like, oh my gosh. I share that with everyone. I say, look at this and tell me what on here resonates with you as truth. And let's check out which section it's in of how dehydrated or how acidic your body is because it's not getting proper hydration.
Right.
And then you go and you read the different articles about an alkaline body and how disease doesn't grow or it can't survive in an alkaline body. I'd never heard ever in my entire life that my body was acidic and that disease didn't grow, or that disease grew in an acidic environment. I never heard that until I joined this company. Yeah. I never heard the importance of hydration until I joined this company. Yeah. I mean, it's just like mind blowing, the information that I have learned over a short 2 years. But I can tell you, like, I love to learn about this company. I love sharing everything about this company. My goal is to change a life one drink at a time, 9.5, stay alive. Like, that's my purpose. That's my goal, is to show people there's another way that isn't just the route of Band-Aid it with a prescription or Band-Aid it with, whatever it is. It's time to change your thought process, change your thinking, change your water, change your life. Like, let's get flowing and growing,
Yeah. Well, I love that whole concept that the motto of this company is change your water, change your life. It's not change your water, change your job. Water, change your house, change your water, change your car. No, it's change your water, change your life. And
Yep.
And you don't really understand just how accurate that is until you get involved with the company, and it literally changes your life.
Yep. It
And,
sure does.
you know, even if you've got the perfect life, you got no health problems, you got no wealth problems, you got no, you know, mind problems or whatever, this company will still change your life,
It
because
will.
all the positivity that you're gonna, if you join this company and you actually drink the water and utilize the water and share the water and do the things that you really should do as part of this company out of just a moral sense. Like for me, it's a moral duty. I have to share this water with people, and that stems from the end of this book. At the end of this book, I don't know if you've ever seen this book, but if you haven't, it's called World Without Cancer, and it's written by a guy named G. Edward Griffin. But at the end of that book, he says something that has always stood with me and literally hit me like a ton of bricks. At the very end of the book, he says, "You now have the ability to live in a world without cancer. And the only reason you have that ability is because someone out there somewhere was gracious enough to bring this information to your attention. Can you do any less for others?" And that just smacked me so hard. I was just like, wow, no, I cannot do any less for others. And so for, 27 years, I've been sharing this story regardless of whether people think I'm nuts or not. And most people do think I'm nuts. Like I'll go and, this always blows people away. I got to tell you this. You'll love this story. Because I do all kinds of crazy things like this. But this is one of my favorite things to do, is if I see somebody eating an apple. Like I was at a local taco time getting some tacos on Taco Wednesday, and I've already ordered, and I'm sitting there waiting for my tacos, and I see this lady come walking in the restaurant. She's eating an apple, and she's sitting there chomping that apple, and I can see that she's going to do what everybody does when they eat an apple. They eat all the way around the apple, and then they get to the core, and they look around, where's the garbage?
I eat that part.
And so she's sitting there and she's eating her apple, and I'm just sitting there watching her, and I see that she's down to the end, and I see she's looking where to go throw it away. And I walk over to her and I says, "Excuse me, ma'am, are you going to throw that apple away?" And she looks at the apple and she looks at me like I'm nuts, and looks back at the apple and looks at me like I'm nuts. And she goes, "Yeah." I go, "Can I have it?" And she looks at the apple and she looks at me and she looks at the apple and she looks at me like I'm totally nuts. And she kind of shaking like this, hands me the apple core. And I go, I chomp that baby down. And she's like, "What the hell did I just see?" And she's like, she's just totally mind blown that I just took her apple core and ate it. And I asked her, I said, are you curious why I just did that? And the reason why I did it is because it gave me the opportunity to share this book with her. That's why. It gave me the opportunity to do no less for others. And I feel exactly the same way about this water. I share this book out of a moral duty. I share Kangen water out of a moral duty. And I believe that you are the kind of person who does it for that exact same reason. And I have a feeling that as time goes by, there's a reason why we've hooked up. And I don't believe in coincidences anymore because of Ralph Foyer, who died for 10 minutes on his front lawn. I don't believe in coincidences anymore because he was literally dead for 10 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
That's impossible. Most everybody would tell you that's impossible. It's not possible. No. And I say, no, I'm possible. Ralph's possible. God's
right.
possible. He came back after 10 minutes. They revived him on his front lawn after he'd been dead for 10 minutes, and he still remembered who he was. He still had his mental faculties, and that's not supposed to be possible. The brain's not supposed to be able to go 10 minutes without oxygen and still come back and know who the heck it is and what's going on. And
right.
So I believe the same thing about, why you and I have managed to hook up, and, why Brittany Dykes shared her story, because, you and I are both living testament as to what her story did and how powerful they are. And that's a huge reason why I do what I do every day with this show, and I'm constantly reaching out there, trying to get people to come on the show. I'd really love to have your Dr. Sean. I would hope and, beg you to reach out to him and ask him if he'd come on the show sometime. And we could even do a special episode. It doesn't have to be at this time of the day. It could be on the weekends, or it could be even in the evenings or whatever. I aim to accommodate people who want to come on this show and share their stories. And having an actual doctor, a chiropractic doctor, come on would be really powerful, because, that they're just, they know more than what we know. They have the ability to share more than what we have the ability to share, because they're in the profession and that kind of thing. But, we've been in here for a while, and I want to finish up with the last part of this that I like to give everybody an opportunity with. And that is that, my goal here is to share stories and to unite people. Because somebody might not be interested in working with me. They might think I'm half-baked nut, and probably right, because I always say I am crazy. That's what keeps me from going insane.
Not crazy, you're gifted. It's fine.
But I want to give you an opportunity to tell people how they can get a hold of you, because there might be people out there who need a good health coach. They need a good energy coach. They need what you do, and
Awesome.
I'll give them an opportunity to be able to get a hold of you if they choose to. And so, if you would like to, it's completely up to you. This is completely up to you how much info you want to give them, but they can, let them know what your contact information is. Just tell everybody whatever you'd like them to know. And, people that if you're going to get a hold of Melisa through Facebook, please do her a favor. Send her a message along with that friend request that says, "Hey, Melisa, I saw you on that crazy guy's show, and I really resonated with you, and I'd love to hook up," and blah, blah, blah. Just let her know why you're sending her a friend request. Don't just send a friend request. And that's all I ask. I think it's really a matter of common courtesy. It drives me batty getting friend requests with people and they don't say why. So anyway, with that said, Melisa, how can people get a hold of you? How can they come work with you? How can they team up with you? How can they come buy a machine from you?
Awesome.
What do you get?
Well, I do a lot of different things. I have a few different websites. The soulsanctuary.com, soul spelled S-U-L, like the sun. There you can find all of my energy healing, my retreats, my workshops, different things like that I do, more on the spiritual side, I guess I could say. And for the Enagic side, I have a website, doyoukongan.com, and there you will see my Kongan website, and you can get a hold of me there as well. You can find me on Instagram under Hashi Magic, H-A-S-H-A-I, Hashi Magic, and that's really, and then Facebook, Melisa Smith Campbell, so there's different spots you can find me. I'm always about new friends and listening and experiencing other people's journeys in any way that I can walk with you. So these journeys, when we are doing the work of healing ourselves and changing our minds and really reevaluating our lives, the work is our own, and it's rough sometimes, but it's also nice to have somebody there that's cheering you on, that can offer support, and just that safe place for you to surrender into who you are and to grow and to experience this life, because we are spiritual beings having a human experience. And each day that we tune in and recognize who we are reconnecting with that purpose of why we're here on this planet. And it is to share and live and vibrate in that unconditional love frequency. And I believe that with all my heart. And I love meeting like-minded people. Let's share, let's enjoy. Hopefully I see you guys at some of my retreats. I have one going on at the end of January in Bear Lake, January 24th through the 26th. It's a Surrender Into You workshop retreat. It's 3 days long. It's really awesome, really powerful. when you connect with yourself and just take that time for you, there's a lot that you can move through and really share and grow your life in just a matter of days if you're surrounded in that support of the right people. And everything I do, I share Kangen water. It is really important to me because Kangen water does raise your vibration. It is living, powerful water that fuels you, and it ignites a spark inside of your brain that just puts you on a different level. So I'm all about it. Come be my friend.
Isn't that the truth? I tell you, it's something that takes, you got to make a wise choice. I always tell people, I've had friends tell me that I saved their life, and I told them, no, I didn't. You did.
Yeah.
You're the one who made the wise choice.
Yeah.
I didn't make the choice for you. All I did is I just
You
did.
planted the seed.
Excuse me. Not a
Our
frog.
job is to plant the seed so that they can allow it to grow. That's really all that it is.
Yes. Amen.
So.
Yeah, well, I absolutely love the fact that you came on today. I'm so grateful for that, honey. It's been such a heartwarming story to hear your story. It really just brings tremendous warmth to my heart. I've been tearing up listening to what you've gone through and where you've been now to see where you've come. The post you did the other day about the skiing was really fantastic. It is pretty amazing how much the body can change, and people don't need to suffer. And I've said a lot, and sometimes people get mad at me about this, but health is a choice.
It absolutely is.
Cancer's a choice. Disease is a choice. Whatever kind of issue you got, it's a choice. And
I absolutely agree with that.
they like to feel that they're just a victim and there's nothing that they can do about it. And they just got the short end of the stick and that kind of thing. And I'm here to tell them beyond a shadow of a doubt that that's not the case. And I know it for a fact because I've seen it over and over and over and over again. And, being in this situation that I'm in, putting this thing together, I've heard so many incredible, heartwarming stories. And it's just been such an incredible blessing getting to meet people like you. And quite frankly, I would really like to get a chance to sit down sometime, maybe over some coffee or something, and just have a little chat about some things that I've got on my brain cell that have to do with this. And we might be able to partner up and do really, really, really change some people's lives in such an incredible way. And that's why I say I don't really believe in coincidences. I think that this kind of stuff happens for a reason because it's supposed to. And, we're here to change the world. We're the Kong family. We're here to change the world. And, it's as we love to say, we're changing the world one glass of hydrogen-rich, oxygen-saturated, incredibly hydrating Kong's water at a time. One lightning bolt in a box, one incredible blessed guest, and one amazing family at a time. And it is happening. We are doing it, and it's just an incredible thing to be part of. And I'm so thankful and grateful that you came here with us today to share your incredible story. And I look forward to working with you more and sharing out your information. And I just have one last thing I wanted to ask you. You said Soul Sanctuary, like the sun. Is that S-O-L or S? Did you say S-U-L or S-O-L?
So it's the Soul, S-O-L, sanctuary.com.
The Soul Sanctuary. Because I want to put that in the comments.
Awesome.
When this goes up onto YouTube, I'll get a recording of this here in about an hour and a half or so. And then I'll get it put up to YouTube, and I'll get you the links to it so that you can do it. And in all the stuff, I'll make sure to put that information so that people can reach out to you. And once again, thank you so much for coming here today and being so gracious to share your incredible story. What an awesome story. I'll tell you, I love it. I knew today was going to be a really awesome show, and boy, it was. Here we've been here for almost an hour and a half, and it seems like it's been like 15 minutes to me. And you know, it's amazing how time flies when you're having fun and learning and, you know, sharing and that kind of thing. So Melissa, thank you. God bless. And I look forward to continuing this journey with you. So,
Thank you.
as I
Thank
always
you so
say to
much.
everybody, don't forget your hugs, kids, and your hoo-hoo-hoos. Get out there and change the world, starting with your own, and make it a great day. And we'll talk again soon.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Have a great day.
All right,
That
kids.
was
What an
just
incredible
awesome.
day. What an incredible day. What's that?
I was saying that wasn't just awesome. That was phenomenal. That's very inspirational. I can't give her enough thanks for stepping out and coming on the show today, because that is a phenomenal and a very inspirational and very dude. I had tears in my eyes. I love the story.
Yeah, me too.
Thank you.
You be safe out there, trucker. And we'll talk to you later. See you, Melissa. Make it a great
See you
day.
later.
Woo!